Hello, everybody. This is Wave 3 meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to this edition of Snow Talk. And they're going to have to say that again, but it's not a major ordeal, but it is certainly the talk of the town. And it may be coincidence, bear with me for a moment, that I did this today, but I did have just one. Just one. That's it. And Christy Dutton, if you're watching this, you don't know where this is. She's always in my candy. Anyway, I don't think this is a major ordeal. Certainly, I think the freeze that's coming after the snow chance is probably going to be the one that's going to make the biggest headlines. But nevertheless, we got to talk about it because it is going to be something that I think will be visibly seen to a lot of us, especially the snow lovers who deep down just don't ever want to give up on snow. You'll be up late tonight just to see it happen because if you sleep in tomorrow morning, you likely will miss this chance coming through. All right, here's the latest that we have on the scope around the area, and we've got some cloud cover and some sun trying to break out. I'm looking at our SkyTrack cameras now. It is mostly cloudy, but there are a few breaks of sun trying to work its way in, and as long as those breaks keep trying to develop, there is going to be a chance for maybe some thunderstorms that could develop here along the actual front itself in the next little bit. We're already seeing that reaction here across Arkansas. We'll wait and see if it builds in here in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky. Would not rule it out, and some of the short-term models are actually showing that. So nothing severe, but some thunder and lightning is possible later on here for this afternoon. Now, on the backside, we're expecting this to really just fill in here with quite a bit of rain and surge northbound. At the same time, the cold air is rushing in here on the backside of this front, and the two are going to meet up, and that's when things get interesting as we head into tonight. So here's the latest model runs. I just updated this. The arrows are the wind direction. Got a southwest flow here this afternoon, a little breezy at times. Keep the temperatures pretty steady, well into the 60s. Now we'll start to get, again, some sunshine that's going to cause a few thunderstorms, and it looks very broken here on the radar at 4 in the afternoon, but there is a chance for some thunder showers. But notice the arrows starting to shift around the northwest or western counties by 4 in the afternoon. That trend continues as we into supper time, and that's when we'll start to see temperatures begin to fall in southern Indiana, staying pretty steady here on our eastern counties through supper time itself, the way it's looking now. And then as night goes on, we'll see another surge here. The Arkansas rain really will build into here as we into mid to late evening. But notice, if you look very carefully, it's starting to show up here. The cold air begins to work its way in, and boom, begins to change over to some snowfall, wet snowflakes, maybe a sleet initially. The atmosphere, you got to look at it in 3 dimensions here when it comes to snowfall, and we've got a very thick layer of warmth in our area. The cold air is sinking, though, from top down, and that's the big debate, is how much of that cold layer is going to be able to sink toward the surface here, and the lower it goes, the better chance it'll be snow. If it gets hung up somewhere in the process, then it may be more of either a cold rain or sleet. But at this point, it looks like the cold air is going to be thick enough to support snowflakes and a burst of snow too, and it's going to come down pretty good. Big flakes, pretty likely, about 4 in the morning. Now, as far as accumulations go, and we'll talk about that in a second, but you got to keep in mind, the ground's very warm. It's going to be very difficult for anything to stick. You can get accumulating snow, though, in April, and you can get accumulating snow in May. It has happened before in Louisville. But you've got to have a tremendous amount of snowfall rate here. It's going to be more than 1.5 inches an hour coming down. It's got to be at nighttime, and it's only going to be grassy areas and elevated objects. I mentioned this yesterday. And really, there could be a snow burst. So I would not rule out some car tops and rooftops, especially in the higher elevations here. The bluegrass area into Ohio and East Kentucky have the better chance because of elevation to see some grassy amounts of snowfall accumulate briefly. But as soon as that snow stops, it melts almost immediately. So it's only going to be a very brief accumulation only while it's coming down. And then after that, it's kind of over with. But anyway, if you're going to be up at 4:30 in the morning, you could see some snow falling through the area. And then by 7, it begins to move off to the east. The extension of the model here does show the northwest flow will continue all day long on Tuesday. So it's going to be chilly. We'll have some sunshine. That should help warm us up a little bit. But that north flow may keep us certainly in the low to mid-40s, and that's the best we're going to do. And then Wednesday morning, we'll have to watch for a freeze here. And then, of course, we'll get a southeast wind Wednesday afternoon. That means we'll see a jump, about a 10-degree jump in temperatures, looks like, for Wednesday. Now, just for fun, here are the models for snow accumulations. And again, the models do horrible when it comes to warm ground scenarios. So take this with a grain of salt. But you see where it's focusing the highest chance in that bluegrass area in the higher elevations of East Kentucky. So, and that makes sense to me. This is the European model. Here's the latest on the NAM model. A little more dramatic. 2 to 4 inches of snow. Wow. But you can see again where it's focusing that idea. And it's mainly going to be areas in the higher elevations off to the north and east there. And then our last model here is the GFS. And probably the most realistic to the potential here. There could be some snowfall amounts. And generally, if it accumulates in grassy areas, could get about an inch. That one rolled out. But the big story by far is going to be the freeze watch. That'll be after all this is out of here and the skies clear out. This will be for Wednesday morning. This could be upgraded to a freeze warning. I don't know if they'll do that this afternoon. They probably will wait another day before they upgrade this. But a freeze warning for Wednesday morning. Temperatures could ease on down to the 20s in a few spots. Here in the city of Louisville, probably close to 31, 32 because of the urban heat effect here that we always see. But in outlying areas, a freeze looks to be likely. So some excitement around here. At least we don't have to worry about severe weather so far, really, this season. That is a saving grace. I know the snow is crummy. The cold air is annoying. But there is a saving grace to all of that, and it is worth mentioning. But we'll have another chance for a cold shot perhaps after Easter. And then maybe we'll finally break out this pattern. But the way this year's going, you got to take this a week at a time. All right, thanks for watching. We'll have much more today beginning at 5 o'clock on this snow chance coming through and the freeze, of course. And then we'll talk much more about your Easter weekend holiday as well. Have a good afternoon.